Dude, let me ask you a question.
What up, dumb diggity dog?
Do you like country music?
No. Next question. No, it depends. It depends. I like me some I probably like I like songs. I like some songs a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like is it Brad Paisley Gone Fishing? Like I like that song. That song makes me laugh.
of course. Of course. Gone
Yeah.
fishing. There's the theme.
Yep.
Um, so I was taking my kids to school this morning, and of course, they immediately start fighting about something, right? I can't even remember what it was, but I was just like, guys, can't we all just get along, please? And then it came to me that there's this somewhat newish country song by Kenny Chesney called "Get Along." So I found it on the YouTubes and started playing it like really loud. Started singing it, and both my kids actually really like it, and so they started singing along. And then they started like being happy again, and then they got along.
Hmm.
It was really
I need to
cool.
look this. I need to look this song up
Yeah.
because because I'll tell you, I love that tactic. What I normally do is pick a song that I like
Uh huh.
when they're fighting in the back, and I blast it and I sing really loud, and they're like in the back, like yelling, "Dad, I can't hear," and I can't hear them. I'm like, "What?" Or I roll the windows down, especially when it's like cold and it makes them very uncomfortable. And so that's actually probably counter
Yeah,
to the lesson that you were trying to teach
I
your
think
kids.
you're countering
Yeah. But
that
I can't
whole.
hear them, and it makes me happy. And then I look in the rear view, and I could see them, um, their discomfort, and it also brings me a little bit of joy. Sadly, sorry,
We're gonna
but
do
anyways,
another.
that's not the
We're
point.
we're gonna do another Dumb Dudes episode on father
Parenting on
yeah,
fatherhood.
on being a
Yeah,
father. So
yeah. The five
we'll
types of fathers.
take
Yeah, I look forward to
take
it.
take some notes on that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No, that's awesome. It's the power of music, but also the words. I think you told me before we started recording the words. So once you get give
Yeah.
me the
So
gist.
yeah, man. So I actually, I was singing along, and I came in to the office and looked up the words to it, and it's it hits home, not just because my kids were fighting and they can't learn to get along, but I think the world needs to listen to this song a little bit more, and maybe take some lessons from this country song on how we can get along. So I'm gonna read kind of the chorus of the verse, and then we can kind of hit on a little bit. So he says, "Get along on down the road. We've got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, we're scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance, call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all just get along?" And I love it, man. It's a really good song. If you haven't listened to it, you should hear it. You should listen to
Yeah,
it.
I've not listened to it. I'll put it on the YouTubes after this episode. But it's interesting because we were talking about that, and there was a verse that I was reflecting on this morning. Um, and it's Galatians 5:14, and it says, "For the whole law can be summed up in this one command: love your neighbor as yourself." And it's interesting that you were, experiencing what you experienced today, because I think when you look around, and obviously it's present enough that Kenny Chesney, is that his name? Kenny Chesney.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kenny Chesney wrote a song about it, but it's interesting how we've forgotten how to just get along. And what's even more interesting to me is how easy it is. It's I will always argue that, I mean, outside of some strange situation with a particularly turdy person, um, I think it's easier to find our commonalities than it is to find the things that we disagree about. Right. Like if you just took
Totally.
a couple minutes, and it's not even that, like this was from the Bible, love your neighbor as yourself, but you can apply that. I think there's a universality to that. There's also, I was listening to a show I think it was NPR. And it was talking about the culture, different cultures, and it was talking about what neighbors and guests are in different cultures, particularly in the Middle East, and in India. I think they had somebody from India and somebody from the Middle East, and they were talking about the some of the sayings in their religions, and it was, you know, I think it was Hindi, but the one example they gave was basically there's a saying in their faith that says, I guess you could replace neighbor or guest, but a guest is a god.
Mm,
And it's not saying that guests are gods. It's reflecting on how important your responsibility is to ensure that somebody coming in is treated extremely well above yourself.
yeah.
And that's, that's I think it's a universal law. And it's interesting to me that we're having such a hard time just getting along, like having a normal conversation. We're just, we're November right now. We just came out of the election, excuse me, election weekend. And it's shocking to me how a bunch of grown adults, quote unquote leaders, are are these people that cannot even talk to each other. But it's because they choose to find the one or two things that they're absolutely opposed with. And in reality, we're not finding the common ground. But it's pretty simple. It really is pretty simple.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, there's just these like little things in this chorus of the song that you just think about, and then you actually did. Like maybe just find a find a someone that maybe you don't agree with on something, right? And instead, like, dance or call them up or buy a boat and drink a beer and sing a song and like make friends. Like it's
Yeah,
so
man.
much better. It's so much better, you know. And we did another Dumb Dudes on body language and just smiling. Like, how much better of the world would it be if we just smiled a little bit more and we sang a little bit more and we danced? And I mean, like, can't we all just get along, dude?
Well, it's funny, dude, because I I had my boys were fighting this weekend. They are always fighting. So I called
What?
them over and I was, just being very patient. I said, okay, boys, here's what we're gonna do. I forgot what they wanted to do. There's something they really wanted to do. And I was like, until you guys hug and tell each other that you love each other, you're not gonna do this thing. And I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like screen time or something dumb. And and I said, but first, I want you guys to try this one thing for me. And they're like, and they're so frustrated. And I said, Jake, the exact words you just told your brother, I want you to say that to him again, but I want you to smile and say it. And he was like, he sounds something like, yeah, you're a poopy pants or something, whatever he said. It was, and so he's like, I'm not gonna do it. And I said, just smile and say you're a poopy pants. And so he's smiling and he's trying to, he's saying you're a poopy pants. And then Noah, who 2 seconds before when he got called a poopy pants without a smile, was like so mad and it was the worst thing ever. But as they're trying to do it smiling, like everybody's laughing and it's just it's so easy, dude. Like it really is. And we try so hard to be mad at each other when, I think about it too, when you get when I have a gathering at my house, we get together in the front yard, bring a cooler out, and there's beers, and we put a solo stove out there, right? There's different neighbors from all kinds of political backgrounds, and they have very strong opinions about stuff and things. When you just get together and you're having a beer, just hanging out, talking, there's a lot of laughter, dude, and you can find all the ways to have fun. It's just so I just encourage you guys. I don't want to belabor the point, but just I encourage you to be intentional with this, right? It's as intentional as telling yourself to smile when you call a Democrat or Republican a poopy pants. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, you evil, whatever it is. I mean, whatever these things are, be intentional about your words and take note of what you're saying and what you're doing and what your ultimate goal is, right? What is your ultimate goal? Well, I want to have a better country. Me too. Me too.
Yeah,
I
me
want to live
too.
in safety. I want to raise my family in a way that they can play outside and we have we enjoy happiness, however you define happiness. Okay, cool. That's weird because I want the same thing. All right, cool. Let's get after that. Like, let's be intentional about doing that, right? Instead of intentionally finding the one or two things that we don't like about each other. And I think there's a good lesson in that. So I guess go listen to a country song.
Yeah. And if anybody knows Kenny Chesney and they want to introduce him to us so we can have him on our podcast, that'd be cool too. I'm just
Double
saying,
Chuck, barbecue grill.
hey
You know what I
man,
mean?
country music is good.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb. Listen to country music, paint a wall, learn to dance, call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, and make a friend.
Amen.
Deep thoughts.
Deep tops. Deep tops. All right, dude. Stay dumb and deep. Love you, man. Let's get along.
Get along. See
Peace.
you.